I'd like to welcome all of you to our workshop, A Prelude to Radical Empathy. So great follow-up to our keynote. And this is a whale behind me. So yes, I am on the ACTEP board. No, I could not find my ACTEP slide. Yes, I figured out how to do this, and I have my whale. So enjoy my whale. So welcome to workshop number 2, A Prelude to Radical Empathy. I'd like to introduce our presenters, and they can tell you a little bit more about themselves. And Lisa, I can kind of prompt you if your internet continues to go unstable. I would suggest you turn your camera off then, because we can hear you. You have a very projecting voice. It'll be fine. Oh, and I think you're kind of unstable right now. So your face is freezing. So okay, we have the Lisa Wilson, we have Sarah Wilson, we have Chrissy Norris, we have Leticia Garza, and they are founders of the Coalition on Anti-Racist Education, or C.A.R.E. They will be with you during this workshop and will be sharing their knowledge. And Colleen will be monitoring the chat, and then I will pop in or out as questions appear at the end of the workshop. We'll have questions from the chat room. So all of you, this workshop is being recorded, and we'd like your questions in the chat. We'll try to make time for, burning questions at the end. Okay, so Lisa, do you want to take it away? Thank you.
I will attempt to take it away. Thank you, Kathleen. Welcome everybody on this wonderful Friday. Lovely morning. I don't know about you, but my weather is great in Menifee. And I love seeing everybody's beautiful, bright, shining faces. You can tell I worked in early ed because that's how we would greet the children in the morning. Bright, shining faces. Who's ready for their day? Okay. I feel like us as adults, we need that too. Look at Janice is here. Excited about Janice being here. Kim Barker is here. She's also part of our collective, so we're really excited. So let's take a dive. The COCOs, we call ourselves, because we're co-founders all together of the collective. They might have to take the reins if my internet starts to act up. So I really appreciate everybody's patience in advance and flexibility. And I'm so excited to be here and that Janice gave us this opportunity to share with you kind of what we've been doing. Our collective, because we believe in the power of the collective. We believe in the spirit of true collaboration. We value everyone's specialization, input, and really we welcome everybody to be a part of kind of this journey with us. So thank you so much, Janice, for your leadership and an opportunity to be here today. So I'm going to go ahead and share. I'm going to attempt to share right now. Okay, here we go. Let's see here. And you know what I'm going to do, everyone? I am going to turn my camera off in hoping that that will help with my connectivity, okay? So let me do that. All right. So here we go. First of all, I'm just gonna kind of talk a little bit about like my story and how I've gotten to this point and why we decided to create a space called C.A.R.E. Once again, that acronym, it is an acronym. It stands for Coalition on Anti-Racism Education. This happened right on the heels of the civil unrest that we have experienced, all of us really, and seen from either a distance, been either indirectly or directly involved in police brutality and the murdering of BIPOC people and over-policing of neighborhoods, different types of injustices that we have witnessed. And, unfortunately, it's something that I feel like kind of took a whole nother level, right? It went on a whole nother level after the George Floyd murder. And so the collective was originally founded and we created a Thursday evening, 7 to 9, open dialogue, unfiltered space for any and everyone, okay, to be a part of a conversation. And the conversation is, why and what now? That's really what we were searching for. Why does this keep happening and what now? So it was a real call to action. I was in my living room, as I'm sure all of us were working from home at that point, and several of us still are. And I really was just like, what can I do with my privilege, my contacts, in order to create change, transformative change in the education field so people can continue to help our future generations evolve and move from this mentality of the caste system that people are beneath other people. Like, how do we get to this place where we truly are a social justice nation, right? Like we're moving from just talking about it, and now we're actively involved in decision making. And so really that's where this was born out of. So it was born from a place of necessity, and it was definitely born from a place of total compassion, and which has turned into what we like to call radical empathy, to the point where we hear you, we see you, everybody on this call right now has a story. And we don't know what the story is, but we all have one. And we all need to be able to learn to be patient, listen to one another, so we can get into a place where we're dealing with people as individuals and not as colors. And we're dealing with people as, you know, people that like human beings. We want to get to the place where we are dealing with one another as human beings. We all need to eat. We all need to sleep. We all need to work, and we all need to rest. So that's really what the collective's about. So in saying that, let's get started. Let's get rocking and rolling here. I'm super excited because we've got this great sponsor, Epic Consulting. Leticia Garza is also the principal founder for her own consulting firm called Epic. And she's actually been so gracious, and this is the nice part about working in a collective. We're able to showcase people's talents and abilities and skill sets, right? So what we did is we founded our institute, and it's another acronym because we love acronyms at C.A.R.E. And our institute is called FIRE, which stands for Foremost Institute on Radical Empathy. So, it's time to catch some fire. That's kind of what we're talking about with radical empathy. We want educators to be in a space where they're not judged, but there's a lot of self-reflection going on, right? We want educators to be in a space where they are given the tools and the resources to embed and thread throughout their curriculum with their students, and give their students an opportunity to weigh in about their story and their path. And what else? To develop that social political lens with students so they can see liberation for the oppressed, our future world, right? In a utopian type of world, what would it look like? And we really want students to see that and get that vision, catch that vision, and catch the fire. So that's really what our radical empathy course is for. It's designed for educators by educators to be able to educate future students in work in every cross-sector type of industry work, where we can continue to be transformative in how we work with people, and we work with people as human beings on an individual level. So I'm hoping everyone's catching what I'm saying. Here's another thing about what our course offering is about. And so we're really excited about this, and we're going to take a little bit of a deeper dive into it. And I do want to encourage you, okay, if this is something that you're like, man, this is interesting to me, I like the way this is sounding, we want to invite you to come to our collective. We want to invite you to be a part of our collective on Thursday nights. We want to invite you to be a part of other wonderful opportunities we have. Once you're a part of the collective, we can share those types of things with you. But we also have resources for teachers on our website. And one of the Cocos is going to pop in the chat our website information that you can go to. And there's teaching resources on how you can thread anti-racism type of themes and radical empathy types of activities with your students. The best way to really kind of help you get to a place where you can have these types of conversations is to be a part of our second cohort, which starts January 15th on radical empathy. So one of the things that the course is about is, we go over the shared history. So this is really important because we want to definitely be at a place where we are not sanitizing history. I'm sure all of us that I also teach at Pacific Oaks University, and I've heard it from my students. So if you have too, we can all concur on the same thing, right? Students want the truth, okay? Students want the truth. And I taught high school for a while too. I did a dual enrollment courses. And students really respect us when we're providing truth to them. And so I think a lot of people feel kind of cheated, about kind of what happened in American history, Black history, how much of the United States was Mexico and why was it taken away? I mean, these questions are real questions that students have. And if you have those questions, this is a great opportunity for you to stay connected with us. So the course really goes over that shared history, because it is a shared history. The one thing we all are is we're all Americans. We're all Americans, but we do have ancestral past. And we want to be able to really let people have that identity, right? One of the 4 pillars of social justice, according to Teaching Tolerance, the first pillar is identity. So when people say, well, why do we have to have BSU, which stands for Black Student Unions, or emoji clubs, or anything that kind of identifies ethnicity first, right? Well, really, truly, the reason for that is for community, to build community and representation and a sense of identity, a sense of having a place. So, being able to also look kind of like at your campus and look at your classroom and just look at how you represent your students, it's important for us to kind of take that inventory. So that's something too that we work with educators on, just kind of an assessment of kind of where you're at in your journey and what your commitment is as far as like the shared history. Sorry, everybody, that's my cat. Janice will know what that is like. She pushes things off of anywhere that it's up high. Okay. So anyway, so the shared history is really key in our course. We really go through it, and it's totally unsanitized, and we really go into depth with it. And then we do provide a lot of wonderful resources to continue your journey towards radical empathy. There's lots of self-reflective work, because, as educators, we know the value of that self-reflective work. Without that, we're not going to have change, a change of mind, change of heart. And then we're not going to be transformed to want to be people of action. So we do a lot of self-reflective work. And then we do have that practical application. So it's not so abstract, because a lot of times what happens in these types of like courses or opportunities just to kind of like leverage ourselves up and build our knowledge base is sometimes the utilization of the resources is not really practical, and it doesn't make sense. So we actually have really practical, lesson planning and ways to embed, even as a teacher that teaches math, right? How you can embed like social justice themes throughout your course. I know we're waiting for questions at the end, so I just want to make sure that I'm not going too fast, that I'm at a pretty good pace here. All right. So here's the course layout, and then I'm gonna hand it over to Chrissy. She's gonna do some of the presentation as well. Hopefully her internet is behaving itself. But so here's C.A.R.E, the course of study, and these are just some things that we're kind of looking at. We want it to be an opportunity for self-paced. So it is asynchronous, but we do have opportunities for educators to be a part of live sessions and unfiltered conversations and dialogue with experts in DEIA work, so diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility work. And we also have opportunities for us just to share our stories. It's important that we build community, especially in this virtual world that we've all been forced into, that we continue to hear from one another, we build community, and we engage community. So the really unique part about our collective is we are a grassroots collective, and we also have other people from the community, people that have been justice involved. We call them returning citizens. So somebody that may have been incarcerated is now out. They're part of our collective. We want to hear from people who have had direct experiences with social injustice and how we can help to change and make major changes so it doesn't continue to happen. Our course is pretty extensive. If that scares you, the 118 discussions, don't let it. It is self-paced, and it's really engaging. And all of us are curriculum writers, including Kim Barker, on this course. And we really did value this time together, because we've transformed as people, as individual people, we've transformed. 44 assignments, 10 modules. Each module will take you about a month to complete, maybe a little bit less depending on your time commitment in the course. So now my portion is finished until the end, so you will be hearing from me again. But right now it is Chrissy's turn, unless there's an issue with the internet. Chrissy, are you good to take it away?
I hope so. I might have to turn my video off, but I wanted to at least start off with video on so you guys can all see that I am here and a real person and I am live. Thank you guys for this opportunity. As Lisa mentioned, this course is very extensive. However, the way that I look at it, I'm going to go over some course objectives and student outcomes because this is why we're here, right? We're all educators and we want to know what's in it for me and what am I going to get out of it. So I like to look at this course as if it's a journey. We're all on this journey together. Some of us are a little bit further along the journey than others, but we all are going to meet at the end. And how is this going to impact our teaching? How is this going to make us better educators for all of those students that come into my class, no matter what their background is, where they come from, what they bring to the table. So some of the course objectives, and I'm just going to do some highlights here. So that we can all kind of understand what we're going to be covering throughout the course, or what you all will be covering throughout the course as you participate in the curriculum. We're going to be critically interpreting and understanding of the fundamental and foundation of racism through historical contributors and societal events, creating a caste system in the United States. This was huge for me because I'll have to admit, before participating in writing the curriculum and kind of having the discussions and dialogue that I had with C.A.R.E, I didn't know a lot of the foundation. I went through school here in Southern California, and I just didn't get that same background information that was so foundational to really understanding why this is such a big issue now. So we wanted to dedicate some time to understanding that the foundational roots of where racism started. Another factor or objective is analyzing factors that force BIPOC population to engage in assimilation and conformity within created systems of oppression. And then for those of you that don't know, BIPOC is, so sorry, I just blanked.
Black, Indigenous, people of color.
Thank you. I'm so sorry. And the second objective is examining components of modern systems of oppressive pedagogy and the correlation of contributing factors such as civil rights, affirmative action, and government love of power over people. We're also going to analyze the roles of white fragility, ethnic and cultural racism as related to Bronfenbrenner's ecological model and their significant impact on the individual microsystem. We'll explore the systemic racism from the perspective of segregation of housing, schools, Black subculture, and integration into community. We'll discover societal barriers and heightened expectations restricting BIPOC children by creating behaviors which reduce children's outcomes and successes. And then we'll construct an overall plan of aiding in anti-racist pedagogy and curriculum design. So as you can see, as I mentioned, it's kind of a journey. We're going to start from the beginning and then work our way through and just basically understanding and empathizing. This is what we want. We want to enforce that radical empathy within all human beings to really understand what the BIPOC community has gone through, but then how is it going to impact and affect our teaching? And we're going to really provide you with that anti-racist pedagogy and really understand how to reevaluate curriculum if needed, how to look at how we're interacting with all children, no matter what that children's background or color might be. So some student learning objectives and samples. In Module 1, for example, the students will critically analyze the course text to demonstrate an understanding of the fundamental foundation and creation of race in the United States. So for example, they're going to be doing assignments such as research papers. There's going to be, like any college course, there's going to be a lot of reading, a lot of self-reflection, there's a lot of writing, but everything is to help impact becoming that radical empath. In Module 2, for example, students will demonstrate an understanding of adultification, leading to carceral thinking in BIPOC children ages 0 to 18 through reflective analogy. And an assignment, for example, would be a reflective journal. And then in module 3, students will research, summarize, and create a presentation of the influences of government on foundations of racism in the United States. So an example assignment for that would be a presentation that students would do for the class. I'm going to move it on to Letty Garza. She will be speaking about some sample assignments within the course.
Good morning, everyone. We wanted to make sure that you all got a feel for what one of those in-depth discussions and possible uncomfortable moments might be in as we have the conversation. So this is a sample discussion taken out of the first module as we're introducing these concepts. And an overview of that assignment, I'm just gonna go ahead and read it. Malcolm X said in his autobiography that on June 27th of that year, 1937, Joe Louis knocked out James Braddock to become the heavyweight champion of the world. And all the Negroes in Lansing, like Negroes everywhere, went wildly happy with the greatest celebration of race pride our generation has ever known. A year later, after Louis was defeated by a German named Schmeling, he would fight him in a rematch on the heels of World War II. The previous narrative of Black against white in that first fight would become wrong against right and America the Free against Nazi-occupied Germany. And the outcome would determine whose country was on the right side of history. So you can sort of start getting the idea that when we talk about a shared history, we really mean we're going to talk about these different instances that you may or may not have heard of, how they've been sort of fleeting moments in history that really impacted the way that people were treated. And as part of African-American history in America, as part of American history, right? So this is an example of a discussion. And if you could click through, I have a question that I want us all to consider. This is one of the prompts for this particular discussion. There are several just for this discussion. So do you think Louis's victory united America and its racial divide? Either way, you're being asked to elaborate. So we're going to take a couple of minutes. We have time to do this activity. So we're going to take a couple of minutes. Just consider the idea of a Black man, heavyweight champion of the world, on the heels of World War II, and this fight. And if you've never heard about it, now you're hearing about it. And if you have, we're asking you to consider this extra layer of historical significance for a Black man to be fighting against Nazi Germany, right? All of Nazi Germany during this fight. So let's take a moment, please. And then maybe after a minute, please start writing in the chat what you think on a very basic level, Louis's victory against Nazi German after World War II means, and whether or not it actually had an impact on racial divide in the United States.
This is really great. Thank you, Letty. We cannot see the chat, I think, that people are putting up because we're on panel, which is fine. So we're going to rely on our moderators to assist us with sharing out. Thank you so much. So I just want to chime in here. I think it's really important that we understand the context of this fight. First of all, we have to understand eugenics, and most everyone understands the birth of eugenics started in California. And this idea spread, across the ocean to Nazi Germany. So there's that. And then we have to think about the fact that this is on the heels of World War II starting. And you have a Black man fighting a German. The German boxer, he was just a German boxer, but the fight took on a whole other level for some reason. And for a moment in history, it seemed as if we were united as a country when he knocked him out. It seemed like, yay, we're the good guys, the Americans knocked out the Germans, right? And so the idea is that for this moment, we borrowed Joe Louis, like Joe Louis was a proper American.
color, he transcended race in this moment, even though it lasted for 13 seconds. So that's just something to think about, because sports and entertainment, it has a way of transcending race, you know, like every girl wants to dance like Beyonce, most of them. So there's some power in that. So basically the entire idea is that, I don't know, does anybody know about this fight that happened in history and how important this fight was in history? What are your thoughts about that? Like, do you think that it actually helped to unite the country for a moment and make people feel proud to be American regardless of ethnicity or this, you know, construct of race, black and white in America? We all know, as Janice pointed out, that there's only three races, right? Asian, Caucasian, and African. So white and black, that's those are colors. But do you think that maybe this fight helped to close that gap a little bit? Like, do you think the KKK, they even were like, "Go Joe Louis, he did it"? Like, I mean, what do you feel about this fight that happened, if anything?
Thank you for adding, Sarah. I
It
think
looks
people
like
are
we've
having.
got,
I've got
yeah,
some comments in the chat. It brought forward a discussion, but did not unite. It was short-lived. Future fights referred to the Great White Hope, is one comment. I would also comment that I think it was a token of, I don't think it was an authentic setup. So I'm not sure it united. I think it was, what I know of that fight felt like it was artificial.
Mhm.
I don't think it united. We have a comment that it should have united. The fact that we're discussing this today means it may not have. And
Oh, this is fantastic. Do you see what Ariane White wrote? It's a great question.
Yes.
She says, "I'm always critical and or
Mhm.
suspicious of the ways in which the U.S.-centric American patriotism is portrayed in the public sphere. In the same moment of Joe Louis's victory, Black people were not able to enter the front doors of most public establishments in the South." Exactly. So good. Also, the history of athletics is one of the further exploitations of the BIPOC athletes, as they are celebrated in their moments of glory and then discarded when they are no longer at their prime. I love you. Exactly.
Yes,
Fantastic.
absolutely. Thank you so much for those comments, because this, I mean, obviously you had 30 seconds, right? This is a discussion question, and this is something that, you know, students of this particular course will have to go back and forth and kind of consider not only how they're viewing it, if they'd never heard about it before, like someone was saying, Anne said she'd never heard of the fight, you know, but, you know, she's guessing that there would be some kind of uniting force that would be short-lived, right? Because the caste system in America and race relations in America are not going to be tipped towards the positive or the enlightened just because Joe Louis beats, you know, a German during World War II. It's just not going to happen. I mean, we're sitting here in 2020 having this conversation. So if you go to the next slide, please. Who has the, okay. So I want to make a point to say that because we know that this is the way that history is retold, we have to make sure that we pull out other resources for students. So this is one of the articles that students are asked to read in this discussion before they jump into the discussion, from The Undefeated. And the name of the article, the title is "When Joe Louis Fought Schmeling, White America Enthusiastically Rooted for a Black Man." But then that was it, right? They rooted for the Black man, and then he won and it was yay. But then what happens when he comes back to the United States, right? Is he still walking through the back door of the establishments if people don't recognize him? So it's this idea. These are just a couple of quotes from that article. "White Americans, even while some of them were lynching Black people in the South, were depending on me to KO a German. The whole damn country was depending on me." Okay, so just like the athletes that were mentioned in the chat, we see them as entertainers. We want them for a while. We want them to are we not entertained kind of idea. And then when we're done with them, what happens as a society? They're discarded. And then here's a quote for somebody in one of the local communities. If Joe lost, we were back in slavery and beyond help. We didn't breathe, we didn't hope, we waited. The idea that on the other side of that coin, that white America is rooting for a Black man, at the same time that Black America is thinking, what's going to happen if he loses? What happens if he doesn't come back victorious? Is it going to send us back 50 years? Is it going to send us back 100 years? Like, what's going to happen? So this shared history, these ideas that simultaneously, while America's trying to push forward, there are people still suffering. So this is just one discussion that we wanted to highlight at the beginning of the course. And obviously we just dive deeper and get more self-reflective and learn more about how to engage in this way in the classroom after this. Thank you for sharing.
All right, wonderful. Hopefully everyone can still hear me. Kathleen, did you want to read some contributions from the chat?
I will. Let me put my camera back on. I was getting a little bit of an instability. I was just about to add this, and Richard added the comment around President Obama's election. In his recent memoir, Richard saying the election of President Obama was similar. It united, but we're dealing with some after effects. In his new book, he mentions that having a Black man in the White House launched a counter movement to that. So that, reading, I think his new book would be important to this discussion. So we also had one fight. Yeah, I said one fight does not change race relations. And let me just look. I think I've got most of them here. Yeah.
All
We're
right.
dealing with the aftermath. Yeah, Reconstruction era. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you,
You're
everybody,
welcome.
for your contributions. Definitely, these are topics that require deep dives and lots of opportunities for people to share their, individual stories, their take on history, and to be in a place where we can just learn. And it's okay to say you don't know something. I mean, that's how we all learn, really. We can't all know everything. And the beautiful part about learning communities is an opportunity for us to build our knowledge base. So it looks like something else came up in chat, Kathleen. Do we need to, I think you already said that, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So course information. So it's going to start January 15th. If you are interested in this, we do have registration that's opening December 1st. I'll be sharing that with Janice. Janice is also part of our collective, so she does have information from us, and because she's part of us, so she knows. But we'll be sending out the live link for the registration. Right now it's priced at $800 per person, but there is opportunities, for us to talk. Sometimes some colleges are wanting to go ahead and sponsor some teachers to do it, so we can talk more about that. The course is approximately at about a 20 unit weight. And so that's pretty big, just gives you kind of an idea of the type of hours that will be needed for it to be something that's meaningful work, and the time commitment as well. So that's why we put that on there. The completion of the modules, we talked about, there's 10 of them. After you complete each module, you do receive a digital badge. It's kind of nice for you to showcase on your social media outlets. And it also is an opportunity to, help to bring other people into this collective movement towards radical empathy. So, we are only as strong as our members. And so the more that we grow, the better will be for our students. There's also opportunities to have care hubs on your campuses. So if you come into our collective and you are so motivated, you take this course, and you want to be somebody that kind of leads CARE discussions, we help you with that too. So we get you trained, and that's kind of my going into my next slide. But I really want to put that out there because, you know, teachers, we're leaders, right? And we get so impassioned and, you know, about this type of work. And even if you're a person that's more of an introvert, you can still be a great facilitator and dialogue. Sometimes you're better because you're not talking so much. So anyway, there's room for everybody. There's room for everybody. And then we have the module certificates as well. And let me get to my next slide. So we believe, we really truly believe this at the collective. Anti-racism is on a continuum. We've built our own framework on anti-racism. That's how we were able to actually build the course, because we have a framework to reference. But for the course completion, you're going to get, you know, your certificate. We're going to do a virtual graduation ceremony. Obviously, because of COVID, we don't see us doing anything face-to-face for a while, you know. Plus, we recognize people's time commitment, being really involved, and it's hard to move away from a space to go to a separate location. We also will, we would love for you to, like I said, join us, see what we're doing, and be featured on our CARE website. And here's an invitation to apply to be considered for some things after you're halfway through that course on radical empathy. You can become a certified coach. There's great opportunities. We're working with the state of California. I start a brand new position Monday with 0 to 3 as the National Director for Equity and Outreach. Woohoo! Give it up for me. All right. And so I'm excited to, you know, bring my lens from California. You know, we are rocking and rolling in Cali. So I'm excited to bring my lens and to really marry what I'm doing at the collective and what we can do at 0 to 3, you know, nationwide opportunity for us. So, hey, be a part of the movement. And then we've got the certified, you know, assessor for anti-racism, because we've built a framework. If you're familiar with the class tool, you know what that looks like. You know, we would love to offer people an opportunity to teach the course with us, even though it is asynchronous. Like I said, we have synchronous opportunities for live discussions. And like I told you before, to be a CARE facilitator leader within your own campus, right? And to provide a space for that community engagement with our students. We need our students' voices heard. I wanted to kind of open it up too. This is our little side thing. I like to put this up. I love this. Rachel Johnson came up with this one day when we were working on our anti-racism curriculum. WOKE, like I said, we love the acronyms. And so this stands for working on kindness every day. When somebody says, Lisa, how can I be radically empathetic? I said, just work on your kindness. Just work on your kindness. It's that simple, right? Just know everyone has a story. Everyone's on a journey. We don't know what people are going through. If we approach people like human beings and give them an opportunity to share and be seen, we're going to be moving more towards being human beings, right? And not being in a place where we're seeing people like based off their color or the cars they drive or the houses they live in or don't live in, that we just really approach people on a human level and love and embrace people for who they are, not what they have. So I want to also kind of offer an opportunity for Kim Barker. If you don't mind unmuting yourself, if you're still in the room, I can't see you because I'm on presenter view right now. But if you are, right, Kim, can you kind of give a little bit of kind of like your journey through the collective and what you've gleaned from being a part of going through the course? I would love for you to share with the group.
Sure. Well, thank you for the opportunity. I would be honored to do that. You know, this started for me by chance. A friend told me about it and said, you know, this might be a good fit for you, Kim. You ought to come to one of these meetings. So she gave Lisa my number, and Lisa called me and we talked for about an hour. And I was invited to come and be in the group. And that first night I was sitting in this incredible space with a multitude of individuals coming from many different facets. And I was humbled, to say the least. I left that meeting not really knowing how I should feel. I was angry. I was hurt. My pride was damaged as a white individual. And it was in that moment that I had to make a choice to either turn around and run or sit in that discomfort and grow. And I chose to sit in the discomfort, and there was a lot of self-talk going on, and I was like, you know, Kim, you need to really hear. It's time to listen. It's time to listen rather than speak. You need to really think about what you're hearing, and you need to sit in this discomfort and understand that what you are feeling does not even compare to what these wonderful individuals that you have the privilege of sitting with have been through in their lifetime. It's a very small percentage of everything that they have gone through. And that was very difficult for me to reconcile, but I went back to the next meeting. And in that second meeting for me, I realized that I needed to listen at this point, that I wasn't there to speak. It wasn't my turn. And it was during that second meeting that I began to truly embrace what I was hearing and recognize that I had my own bias and my own implicit bias and explicit bias that I needed to address, that I didn't even recognize was part of my being. And I left that second meeting feeling inspired and ready to move forward, ready to grow. And so from that point on, it's been an engaging, enlightening growth experience for me. I've begun having conversations with my mom, who is 75 years old and was brought up in deep Mississippi, and was part of just the horrific, I mean, our family, our history. My family was part of what was taking place with lynching and just the deep racism, and beginning to reconcile that and realizing I'm ashamed, and I need to recognize that I am ashamed of what my ancestors did, and how do I make that right?
Kim, thank you so much. I appreciate you being so candid and vulnerable for us today.
Let me finish really quickly.
Yes, no, I'm not cutting you off.
Thank you.
Go for it. Yeah.
And I realized in that moment that how I make that right is making sure that my children do different and that my children know different and that we make a difference. And so it has literally changed my life. My life has been transformed completely in the last 6 to 7 months. And I'm so grateful. I can't even begin to tell you how grateful I am for giving my children a chance to make a better life for your children, and to support that and be part of that and become not just allies, but accomplices. So thank you.
Kim, thank you so much. And really, honestly, the point that we grow is when we're uncomfortable. Has anybody ever done a workout regimen before? Okay, so one of our Cocos is doing a challenge right now. I'm going to put her out there, Go Chrissy. And it's a 60-day challenge where you have to eat clean and work out at crazy times of the day, like at 4 a.m. and do cardio and still smile. And so Chrissy is making it happen. And so it's kind of like, I feel like this is boot camp, you know, when we go through these types of opportunities of self-discovery and really transformative type of learning and living. This is living, right? It's a lifestyle of radical empathy. You're going to feel like you're in boot camp. You're going to be tired. You're going to be kind of, you know, worn out a little bit from the experience. But at the end, guess what? The results were worth the sacrifice. And so that's really what I think about when I think about this type of work. It's worth the sacrifice. And look at here, we have this wonderful testimony from Kim. Richard, you said something in chat. You said, I understand you, Kim. I'm not doing it verbatim what you put in there because I'm now in presenter mode again. But Richard, can you take yourself off a mute and share with us kind of your experience, because you are the husband that's not your only title and role, but in this capacity, you're the husband of Leticia Garza. And so I'd love to hear kind of your perspective too, of your journey, as we've also been participating in great dialogue with CCC AOE on Wednesday nights.
Yes, if my, I can't even see myself, so I don't know if you can see me or not.
We can see you. We can see and hear you. You're fine.
All right. I will tell you that there has been a change in our household. There, in my growth within the past 6 to 8 months, is when you become aware of your own bias, it has a weird sense of freeing you from that, what you've always had. You don't know that you have these biases because they're hidden and you're holding on to them. And then when you become aware of them, it gives you a sense of betterment that you can challenge yourself and make a difference. And I will say that, Letty and I have been together for about 10 years now, and probably the first 8 years of us being together, I never knew how much, I'll say what it is, the mansplaining that I used to do constantly, and how much, what a struggle that was for Letty to give me the chance to be the man that I am. But in her honesty in dealing with these types of things and pulling things out, I was in denial, even if she had pointed out. And I will say that the more and more that I pay attention and just listen and fight any urge to try and explain, the way things really are. And so that's where my changes have come about. And I think that's one of the struggles that we have in the community, especially on the male side. And like folks on this call don't know that. And so I think that just sitting back and listening first to my wife, and has changed both myself and what I do at work, and most importantly, what I do with my family and how I deal with my son and those types of things. So, but a lot of that came out of even these discussions, which on the Thursday throwback sessions I've not been a part of, but I have been a part of some other presentations and sessions, and being able to put myself out there a little bit and be a little vulnerable. And I will tell you, that's really hard for me, to admit that, I've been doing things pretty much my whole life. And then now I'm in this transition time. And so it is what it is. When I say that, I don't mean it like what the president's saying. It's what it is internally for me, that there is change happening. And that change is making a difference in not just my life, but my wife's life and my child's life, and for people at work, and realizing that sometimes courage is exhibited in just sitting back and listening and not speaking and hearing what others have to say.
Richard, your check will be in the mail. No, I'm just kidding. Richard, thank you so much. That was great. I appreciate it. That was wonderful. Kathleen?
Yes, we had a comment.
I was going to say, can you go to chat first?
Yes.
Great.
Janice mentioned that we start with ourselves in order to impact our students, that, teachers have to be self-reflective. We engage in personal professional development first before we can be authentic with our students. Also, lots of thank yous to both Richard and Kim in the chat. And I wanted to ask you, can you talk a little bit about the CCC AOE Wednesday night sessions? Because I think for some folks, knowing that this is an open session, and I attended one of them, I thought it was very, it was time well spent. So maybe you could talk about that a little bit.
Yes, thank you, Kathleen. Hopefully everybody, my internet's still holding up. We're going to pop in chat the CCCAOE website so you can sign up for Wednesday nights. It's really an opportunity for us as educators just to kind of like go through some topics that we might be hearing about and kind of explore it a little bit. So kind of like what Richard was talking about is the biases is a really great way to start. People probably have heard about implicit and unconscious bias. And so the opportunities on Wednesday nights is for us to come together as just a group of educators seeking just a deeper kind of understanding about like tools of what we actually can do. So, you know, because as we know, Eloy has done a call to action for us, you know, as educators in the community college system, and really for us to be able to provide a space on Wednesday nights for people to not just learn about topics they may not know a lot about, but also to oh, I think I cut out for a minute. Wednesday nights is for us to engage in dialogue with one another, people from all across the state of California, and really talk about some really great topics. So, and to be a little candid, be vulnerable when you feel comfortable. It's definitely not something that we push people to want to have to do to share your story, but we're hoping you will feel comfortable to share your story. So we do start in a large group on Wednesday nights, and then from there we go into smaller breakout sessions. None of it is recorded, just that first portion of it's recorded because usually someone's presenting. I presented on implicit and unconscious bias. This week we have Miss Tony, our Tonette Salter, presenting on the caste system. We had Dr. Davis present on colorism. So every week for like the first 20-25 minutes, there's a presentation for everyone. And then from there, we go into breakout rooms and we hold space for each person to share, you know, anything that kind of came out during that first 20-25 minutes. And then with that too, we've provided some good resources. CCCAOE and C.A.R.E, we are partners on Wednesday nights. And so what we've provided for C.A.R.E is actual tangible resources for teachers to educators. It's cross-sector, anybody could take the course, but we're in an education space right now for educators to be able to be a part of their personal growth and development. So hopefully one of the Cocos popped in chat, the CCCAOE direct link, and it looks like they didn't, but one of them's going to. I think Sarah just did. Perfect. Thank you, Sarah. So yeah, so anyway, so you can go ahead and go through that. There's like a little sign up form, and you're doing some journaling too. You're capturing kind of your thoughts from your Wednesday nights discussions. So yeah, we definitely invite you to come. It is a 7 to 9 commitment in the evening time. If you can make it this next Wednesday coming up, Miss Tonette Salter will be presenting on the caste system. So hopefully we will see you all there. We're also going to pop in our email addresses. So feel free to reach out to us. If you have anything that's personal, you can't share online. I often find when I do these types of discussions, things come up. We want to offer that space of confidentiality to people. So make sure that if you need an ally, if you need some support, you need to talk something through, I popped in my email address, and feel free to reach out to me. So right now we're almost at the top of the hour. Kathleen, Janice, you want to do the last housekeeping? Thank you so much, everyone, for allowing us an opportunity to present today. And we really do appreciate it. I'm going to pop this up per Janice's instructions. This is really important. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, panelists. Thank you so much for sharing with us. We would like everyone to fill out the workshop evaluation. It's popped up there. You've got a QWERTY code also. Colleen, can you share with the whole group the link to the next workshop in the chat? Thank you. Colleen's going to put the link to the next activity for our conference in the chat. Thank you, Colleen. So you can click on that and be with everyone at the next activity. Please complete your workshop evaluation. And again, thank you to our panelists for sharing. And thank you also to members of our audience for sharing your stories. So you're very heartfelt and meaningful stories this morning. So thank you, everyone. Fill out your evaluations, and then we'll see you at the next workshop.